So now I'd like to ask you something a man with your history has, which is you have worked with, and you've mentioned a lot of them, but you've worked with a lot of legendary people. People like Larry Zabisco. I know you've worked with Bockwinkel, Jimmy Snuka, all guys that I watched when I was a kid.
And I watched too.
And you watched.
Amazing. Yep.
And then you met them and you worked with them. So.
And then I'm in the ring with them. It's just an amazing feeling. It's incredible.
And one other guy, and I know there are probably hundreds, but another guy I wanted to mention, Kevin Sullivan. One of my favorites from
great guy.
My youth and maybe the early days of cable. When we were talking before we started the tape running about before cable, we saw these guys in magazines.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, boom, we were able to see everybody on TV. You were with those guys during that era.
Yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah, talk about some of those guys. And
you know, and the funny thing is, I never became starstruck about these guys, which I don't know how I didn't, because I was a mark. I was a fan. I didn't know, and it's just like I'm watching these guys on TV, and now all of a sudden, I'm out having dinner with them, out drinking with them, in the middle of the ring in front of 20,000 people with them. It's just, it was just like absolutely amazing. Quick thing going back to my first time for WWE at the Garden. Walked into the dressing room and walked in, and the respectful thing is you walk into any dressing room, you start to the right and you shake everybody's hand and introduce yourself. So I got halfway through the room, I just introduced myself to Andre. I turn around and there's Hulk Hogan standing there. He's like, "Hey Paul, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the company." And he shook my hand. "I'm Terry." I'm like, wow, cool. You know, here's Hulk Hogan, the biggest thing in the friggin' world, and he knows my name, and he knows I'm just starting, and he welcoming me to the company. It's another highlight I'll never forget, you know, and was with Hulk so many times after that, and he was just a great guy, and, you know, they're all real people. People ask me all the time, well, what was it like to hang around with Andre the Giant, and this one and that one? It's no different than hanging out with you. We put our pants on the same way. People are like, "Oh my God, do you know Vince McMahon?" I go, "He's my boss for 6 years. Of course I know him." "What was he like?" "I hear he's an asshole, blah, blah, blah." Always great with me. I never had a problem with Vince, you know. So that was good. And then there was always so many celebrities around, like Bruins and Celtics and Patriots that would come to all the WWF shows. So you meet those guys and they're all like starstruck, you know. Here these guys are like football stars, and they're like, "Oh my God, Hulk Hogan," you know. It's just so. Fortunately, that never happened to me. You know, I've met all kinds of celebrities. I've been to private parties with celebrities, TV stars. Everybody's the same. Like I always said about Vince McMahon does the same thing I do every morning. He puts his right foot in his pant leg, and then he puts his left foot in his pant leg. I go, just like you and I do. He's a person, you know, and that's how I've always treated any celebrities, any famous people that I've met. They're just regular people. And I think they appreciate that when you meet them and you're not like, you know. It's just kind of, but that's how cool Hulk was.
Like I did when I met Mean Gene Okerlund, I was like,
yeah, you know.
I couldn't help it. I mean, that guy was one of my heroes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Absolutely. But you were with those guys like on a daily basis.
On a regular basis, so it's just, you know, like you work with them. It's like you work at a job, you know, you work with people. I work at a job, I work with people. We're celebrity and we're on TV, but it's still, we're just people, you know, so.
And it's a business, and you are working hard.
Absolutely.
So this is a little off what I was going to ask you, but talk about just how hard it is, the grind of traveling and doing shows.
Oh my God.
Because this is not an easy thing.
No.
When somebody is an expert in something, one of the things they bring to the party is they're able to make what they do look easy.
Right.
And for me, being an observer of this business and not being in this business, I can tell you I've seen this is not easy. So talk about the grind, like the difficulties you might have had. Back
in the WWF, you would work 9 days in a row, have 3 days off. 13 days in a row, have 3 days off. And that's how it would go.
And you're bouncing around.
And you're bouncing around. You're in an airport every day. You know, so my friends were like all jealous. "Oh, where you going this week?" "Oh, I went to Florida. I'm going to Texas. I'm going here. I'm going there. I'm going to California." oh my God, that's so cool. You must have so much fun in all these places and blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not fun at all. You're on a plane at 8 in the morning. You land in at 11. You run into your hotel. You run into the gym. And you got to be at the building by 2. And you're there till 11, 12 o'clock at night. And then the preferred hotel always had a restaurant and a bar in the hotel, and they would stay open late. And all the fans knew where we went everywhere. So you'd show up at the hotel after this whole traveling around, and you're tired and achy, and you want to just have a drink and eat, and there's hundreds of people there. Just want your autograph, want pictures with you. You know, when you eat, whatever, go to bed at like 3 in the morning, and you're up at 6:30 to get to the airport to go to the next deal.
You're doing it again.
Or you're driving for 4 or 5 hours to go to the next deal. You know, so it's a constant. So I always say I've been everywhere and seen nothing in my wrestling career, because you don't. You're on such a tight schedule, and I've done stuff at hospitals, and that WWE is huge in that, you know, and I would be like the only referee that would go and do these things, because even then I felt like it was given back, and you know, and it's important, and I do that still today. You know, they have the Best Buddy Challenge here in Boston, and Tom Brady is in that, and he has a girl that he mentors, and she's on all the commercials with him. I got reached out by them, and I have a gentleman, he's 31 years old, his name's Joseph Hochter. He's the American hero, you know.
And we saw him last night when you were officiating a show, you involved him.
Yeah, you know what, it's a big show,
yeah.
And he loves America and everything, and he got himself a pole and a big flag, and I go, you know what? You can go and wave the flag during the national anthem. So I let him do it. Yeah. We had a big show in Wakefield for the middle school. There was like 1,000 people. It was a huge show. I had him do it there, and the picture that they got of him was him waving the flag with the whole bleachers in the background full of people, you know. And it means, it's like $1 million to him. Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean anything to me other than it makes him feel good, you know. And I see him a couple of times a month. I'll pick him up and take him out to eat, you know, bring him over here. He loves to hang out and watch wrestling, and just, you know, I treat him like he's a normal person. And I forget that he has special needs sometimes, because he's so funny, and the shit he comes up with is hilarious. I'll just freaking laugh my ass off, and it makes me feel good. You know what I mean? And it means so much. He sees me, I love you, he hugs me every time, and so appreciative. I got to meet his mom, because you got to meet the parents, you know, so you can take them places and do things. And now his mom comes with him to the shows, you know, and she loves it, and she's getting into it, you know, and she's so appreciative. And I actually took her out with us a couple of weeks ago. I was taking him out to dinner, and I go, have your mom come with us. And she was like, why do you want me to go? I go, because I like you, and I appreciate that you have me doing this for him, and let's hang out and have dinner, you know what I mean? And she was like, oh, that would be great, you know. Nothing to me, it's just something nice, but to other people, when you do things like this, they appreciate it, you know.
Well, I happen to be standing behind him and his mom at the show last night, yeah. And they were having a blast. Oh, yeah. And a running commentary and interaction with the wrestlers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a cool thing to do.
It's really cool. And now, again, a lot of new wrestlers in the business don't understand that end of it. You know, and it's just, so why do you do this? What's the point? You know, blah, 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 blah. He has special needs, or this and that, you know. It's like, I don't look at him like he has special needs. He's my buddy. You know what I mean? I help him. He goes to a day program for adults, and there's 5 different locations. I've already done 3 autograph signings at 3 of the locations. And there's literally a lineup of 100 people in wheelchairs, way far worse off than he is, you know, and they just line up, and I bring my 8x10s, and I give an autograph for every person. I take a picture with them, you know, and it means the world to them. They show the videos of me behind, they have a big TV behind me where I sign, and they show clips of New England Championship Wrestling and what's going on, and it just means so much to them. I remember one of the places that I went to do this, there was a little, she had to be like 4'5". She wasn't a midget, but a little old lady, and all she does is hug. That's all she does. She doesn't talk. She doesn't do anything else. So the people from the place come over, they go, this she's all excited to meet you, but she won't talk to you, she'll just hug you. I'm like, I don't have a problem with that, no problem at all. She wouldn't let go. She just was hugging me and looking at me and smiling at me and not saying anything, you know, but I could just feel that it really meant something, you know, and that makes me feel good, you know, because I can't do, I'm on TV still as the general manager and running the company, but I'm not physically able to be involved anymore, you know, so to be able to do this is like filling that void, you know, and it means a lot to me, and it always has. I mean, I had a special needs uncle. I used to have him come to shows, and I remember the Ultimate Warrior walked out on Vince right before a pay-per-view, or right after a pay-per-view. And the next week, there was a show at the Shriners Auditorium that this guy, Wendell Weatherby, who promoted shows. And he was very tight with the Warrior. He worked for Vince as a limo driver. He worked for Hulk driving him and Macho Man, and most with Warrior. And I brought my uncle and a couple of my other uncles to the show, and I knew the main event was Demolition against Snooker, and that's all I knew. And I'm walking down the hallway, and somebody grabs me around my neck and pulls me into a doorway. I'm like, holy shit, you know? He's like, guess who, brother? And I looked down, I saw his the Warrior tattoo. And I'm like, oh my God, Jim. And I turned around and it was Warrior. A week after he walked out of Vince, he's 2,000 people at the Shriners, a surprise appearance. The roof almost came off the place. So I brought my uncle with special needs into Warrior, had his own dressing room. I'm like, can you do me a favor? I'll do anything for you, brother. What do you need? I go, I have a special needs uncle. He just shit himself to meet you. He let him sit there for a half hour. He talked to him. He signed pictures. He took pictures with him. It was like he saw God, you know. And that's such a nice feeling to be able to do that for somebody. So I think I've always had compassion for people like that, just because I had an uncle that was that way, you know. And so I always tried. I never turned down an autograph. I've signed zillions of them. When I was on TV all the time, I would constantly be recognized and stopped in a mall or in a restaurant or something, and always would sign, never would, you know, I'd be on a date, and once one comes, they all come, because one talks and they start talking, and they see somebody come over, and oh, we thought it was you, and then they come over, and it's just like, you know, so sometimes it can be a pain if you're on a date and you're not thinking about who you are, you're just you, and all of a sudden it becomes, you're in a Friday's restaurant, it becomes freaking 30 autographs later while you're trying to sit and have dinner. But if it wasn't for the fans, and you see the reaction, how they react to me even now, they've always reacted to me that way. Without these fans, I would have never been. Kowalski could teach me and I could get out there and do it, but if I wasn't special and had something different than the other referees, it wouldn't matter, you know? So, made very good money through my career. I was always paid very, very well, because I was different. I was like somewhat, a bit of an attraction, you know what I mean? So, lucky. Wouldn't change a friggin' thing, Professor, at all. It's just...
Luck plus work.
Yep.
Equals success. But you've got to take advantage of your luck, which you clearly have done.
Absolutely.
Over the years.
Yeah, no, I was at the right place at the right time everywhere I worked.
But you did something with it.
Exactly.
Which is the,
you know, the Savoldi days,
sauce.
He's still on TV today. 25 years later, he's still syndicated around places. You can see me 19 years old running around the ring still, you know, like it was yesterday. But that was the right time to be with Savoldi. You know, when I was with Vince, WrestleMania 3, that was the right time to be with Vince. Sold out everywhere. Biggest thing in the world. When I got in ECW, it was the biggest time for ECW. You know, I was there and involved in that success. Even New England Championship Wrestling, the biggest thing that ever happened to the company was a TV deal that I helped set up and put together. And so I was there at 2010 making all this happen then. So I've always made an impact, and that's important to me, to be able to make an impact in some way, because otherwise why bother? You know, and the respect that I get from the wrestlers today, I know when are we going to talk about NECW and how that all happened at some point?
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that probably next.
Okay, all right. You want to go into that?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.